Someone said that job interviews are like first dates. First impressions matter, awkwardness can occur, and the outcomes are unpredictable. Are you preparing for a job interview? Have you been doing job hunting? Research is showing us that 10 out of 8 out of 10 candidates that attend an interview fail not because of lack of qualifications, but lack of job interviewing skills. So in this particular masterclass, I want us to look at some of the tips on how you can prepare for that interview that you are about to attend. The first thing that is very, very important for the candidate is to know the organization you are interviewing for. Know the role very well. Know the company in terms of its operations, its products. If it's a non-governmental organization, the kind of services they provide, and also know their competitors. Study them, because from the competitors, it is easier to generate and know what are the strengths and weaknesses of the company. So brush up on your knowledge, do your homework. The second critical thing that you need to work on is first impressions. We are told first impressions are the last impressions. So ensure you are prepared with everything that is required, every certificate, every paper. And if you are doing an online interview, ensure your network is working well so that you are not disrupted along the way. Ensure you arrive on time. Ensure that you are courteous to everybody around. A story is given of a CEO who was interviewing for senior positions, and I read it in one of the local diaries some times back. And that particular day he decided for him to know the kind of personalities, because by the time people come to the interview room, and those who have gone for many interviews, they have already been able to work on their public relations skills. So he decided to masquerade as the security man at the gate. So he borrowed the security man's uniform and waited at the main gate. So most of these guys were driving in, and some of them of course had ears, because they are handling a security man after all, what you call gatekeepers in management. And some of them were harassing them. In fact, one of them had the audacity to even tell him he's going to come and sign the book after he had left, because this security men ask you to sign somewhere before you walk in. And therefore the guys were kept in the boardroom waiting for the interview, and then the gentleman went in and changed back into his normal attire, and then walked into his office, because this was the final interview. And one by one they walked in. Of course, when the guys looked at him, some of them recognized and said, where have I seen this man? Is it in my local pub? Is it for those who drink? Is it in my local church for us Christians? Is it in my mosque for Muslims? But then some of them recognized and noticed and remembered that this was the same man at the gate. But of course, he had already formed impressions. He already knew the people he would work with. Some of those ones who came in and harassed the security guy, the same man, never got those jobs. So work on your impression, because we say first impressions do matter. And especially as you walk in, as you are around waiting, and even as you walk out or drive out of the car, until you are out of eyesight, be very keen on how you handle yourself. The third tip that is very, very important and crucial is know your strengths. And in fact, relate your strengths to practical past examples of how you have used them while you have been working. Some of you may be asking questions. I'm a student, I'm newly graduated, what about myself? In that particular case, you are maybe a member of a society in the university. For example, the student organization, or for example, a club. It is good to cite about some of those leadership positions that you held in the university, because they show something about your personality that the employer could be looking for. So relate your strengths to practical examples in your previous work engagement. The number 4 tip that is critical in interviews is acknowledge your weaknesses. That question comes along. What are your weaknesses? Don't say you have none, because nobody is perfect. They are not also not looking for a perfectionist. They know you have weakness, so acknowledge them, because this is a question that shows you are self-aware, shows self-awareness about who you are. You know yourself very well. Some people may say, I'm very detail oriented, so I find myself gathering a lot of information before I make a decision, just to ensure that I make the right decision. Of course, that may be a weakness, because some organizations require you to do and carry out decisions as quickly and as fast as possible. Acknowledge, acknowledge your weaknesses. Acknowledge your weaknesses. The other tip, the fifth tip that is very, very critical, is know your competencies. Know the kind of transferable skills that you are bringing on board. Is it teamwork? Is it decision making? Is it communication skills, interpersonal skills? Know where your strengths lie, and specifically your competencies and transferable skills. And remember, by the time these people are calling you, whether you are doing an online interview or telephone interview or physical, it means there's something they have seen in your CV that has made them be attracted to you. So you are almost like 50% in. You need now to work out on your physical and the presence of mind. The last critical tip is stay calm, be confident. This is not the end of the world. Remember, this is just an interview. I know, especially now when we are going through these coronavirus times, many of us have lost their jobs, so they are looking for new positions. Don't wear desperation on your face. In fact, they would even want to ask you what you have been doing over this period. You can cite community volunteerships that you have been doing, whether in your churches, whether in your mosques, whether it is within the community where you are. Probably you have joined a gym, and or maybe you have joined an exercise group and you guys are meeting. That shows you are a team player. I mean, you are engaging other people beyond your work. So don't just say you have been staying at home idle, because that might send a message of somebody who is not practical and somebody who is not engaging. The very last tip that is very, very critical: watch on your dressing. Ensure you match the dress code with the role that you are interviewing for and the culture of the organization. You might even call the HR person in advance and just find out what kind of dress code is normally the key, because that will work on your impression. And the very last one is, remember to thank the interviewer for giving you that opportunity to interview. And you can even follow it up with an email. It is encouraged, it is allowable, telling them you really had a great time, you really were treated well, and therefore you are thanking them for their time and awaiting their response, whether it is going to be positive or negative. Finally, it is a job interview. It may not be the last one, so don't wear desperation on yourself. Be confident, be calm, be engaging, work on your interpersonal skills. I wish you the very best, and kindly subscribe to our channel, and also ensure you drop some comments on your experiences and even some of the outcomes. I wish you all